Do you want to write a great for and against essay? Do you want to learn some phrases that you can use in your essays to impress your teacher and also the readers? This is the right video to watch. Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel again. In this video, I'd like to talk about some techniques that you can use to write great for and against essays. Let's get started. Let's see what for and against essays are. A for and against essay is a formal piece of writing. The topic is considered from opposing points of view, and also we should present both sides in a fair way by discussing them objectively and in equal detail. A good for and against essay should have an introductory paragraph, should have a main body, and also should have a closing paragraph. Now let's check them one by one. Introduction, you should clearly state the topic to be discussed without giving your opinion. In the introduction, we don't give our opinion. In the body part, it might be 2 paragraphs, it might be 4, and it might be more. The points for and against, along with your justifications, examples, or reasons, are presented in separate paragraphs. So you should give the reasons and also examples in different paragraphs, one for, one for against, or more than that. And in the conclusion paragraph, you should state your opinion, or you should give a balanced consideration of the topic. So we include our opinion in the conclusion paragraph. And in the introduction, in paragraph 1, you can state the topic and the summary of the topic without giving your opinion. In the main body, for example, imagine that you're writing paragraph 2 and 3. In 2 and 3, you write your arguments for the topic and also your justifications, examples, or reasons. And in paragraphs 4 and 5, you write your arguments against and justification, examples, or reasons. And then in conclusion, in your final paragraph, you write either your opinion directly or indirectly, or you can also write a balanced consideration. Now, let's check some tips together. There are some points that you have to consider. Before starting, make a list of the points for and against about the topic that you're going to write about. Each paragraph should start with a topic sentence which summarizes the topic of the paragraph. For example, in addition, many people feel reading is a relaxing and worthwhile activity. So it is the summary of one paragraph. And the paragraph, I know that I'm gonna just read about the reading and also about it being relaxing and worthwhile activity. You shouldn't use informal style or strong language to express your opinion. For example, I know. And instead, for example, you can express your opinion in a non-emotional way. For example, it seems that, I feel that, I think that. And there are some useful expressions and linking words or phrases that you can use in your writing when you write a for and against essay. Here we have a lot of words, a lot of phrases, and you may just write down some of them to use in your writing. To list points, you can use first of all, in the first place, to begin with, to start with, secondly, thirdly, finally, when you want to just list your points. It's really important, it helps your writing to be organized. To list advantages, you can write, for example, a further advantage of something is, or an additional, a major advantage of something is, the main advantage of, greatest, first advantage, and so on. To list disadvantages, again, you can use, for example, a further disadvantage of something is, for example, an additional disadvantage or an additional drawback of blah blah is, and you can just continue your essay. Again, here, for example, the main disadvantage of something is, and so on. You can just choose some of them in your writing, and you can just make your writing much better. Or another negative aspect of something is. To introduce points, arguments for or against, for example here, over very convincing point, for example, argument in favor of something, argument against something. It could be argued that it is widely argued that, maintained that, it is generally felt or believed that. When you want to introduce the points or arguments in your for and against essay. To introduce points and arguments, again, here there are some other phrases and words that you can use. For example, many people, experts, scientists, critics, and so on, they claim that, they suggest that, they argue that, they feel that. Or here, for example, some people maintain that, some people support the view that, oppose the view that, some scientists are in favor of, or some scientists are of the opinion that, are opposed to. As you see here, we have a lot of options, a lot of alternatives you can use in your writing. It becomes monotonous and it becomes boring if you use one of them every time. That's why try to add some variety in your writing. Now here, to add more points to the same topic, for example, you have one topic, you want to add more points, you can use also, it's very common, in addition to this or in addition, furthermore, moreover, besides, apart from. As you see, all of them are really helpful just to add more points in your writing. To add more points, again here, some other alternatives, what is more, as well as, not to mention the fact that, not only, but also, both X and Y. You can use them to add more details and more points to the same topic. Or here, there's another side to the issue, there's another question, another argument of, and so on. Here, to make contrasting points, for example, there are 2 points which are different. You can use on the other hand, however, still, yet, but, nonetheless, nevertheless. As you see, these phrases, they show 2 different ideas. For example, you write about something and then you want to just write about contrasting point or another point which is different. So you can use these phrases in your writing. To make contrasting points, again, for example, it may be said that, it may be argued that, other oppose this view, other people or many people oppose this viewpoint, they strongly disagree. Again, these phrases show contrasting points. Or here, some people claim or feel, believe this argument is incorrect because blah blah blah. To make contrasting points, again, you can use for them although, though, even though, while, whilst, whereas. And here also we have the list of them: despite, in spite of, opponents of something argue, believe that, the fact that. As you see, here we have a lot of alternatives to use while you're writing for and against essay. To introduce examples, as we talked, it is important to provide examples in your paragraphs, especially in your body paragraphs. You can use, for example, for instance, such as like in particular, particularly, especially. This is clearly illustrated, shown by the fact that very good ways to just add variety when you introduce examples in your writing. For example, one example of this, a clear example of this, and so on. Or the fact that blah blah shows or illustrates something. To emphasize a point, because sometimes in your writing you have to make a point stronger. You have to emphasize. And you can use, for example, some words such as clearly, obviously, it is obvious that, naturally, of course, and needless to say. As you see, you can add them, you can use them to add emphasis in your writing, and also indeed to express reality. For example, sometimes you have to also include, for example, the reality in your writing, in your for and against writing. For example, you can say, in fact, the fact is, actually, in practice, it is a fact that. So you can just express reality in your writing, for example, in effect, and so on. To make general statements, as a general rule, or generally, in general, on the whole, by and large, in most cases, you can make general statements in your for and against writing. To make partially correct statements, it means your statement is not 100% correct or true, so you are partially just writing about that statement. To a certain extent, to a certain degree, to some extent, to some degree, I agree or disagree. In a way, this is partly true, but to a limited extent, and there is some truth in this. In some cases, up to a point, and so on. As you see here, it is really important because sometimes we're not 100% sure, or we don't 100% agree or disagree with something. So we can use these phrases to make partially correct statements, or to just make to adjust our statements. To explain or clarify a point, it's important to explain and clarify your points in your body paragraphs. You can use in other words, that is to say, this or which means that, and so on. To explain cause, owing to, due to the fact that, on account of, on the grounds that, given that, because, as, since. As you see here, sometimes you have to just express the cause of something in your essay, so you can use them in your writing to make it even clearer. To express effect, when you express your causes, you have to also express the effects of them. For example, you can use therefore, thus, as a result, as a consequence, consequently, so, for this reason, if were to happen, something would happen. As you see here, we just express the effects of the causes that we have already mentioned in our essay, or the effect a result would be, and so on. To express intention, you can use to, for example, what you intend to just mention, to, so as to, in order to, so that, with the intention of doing something, with the intention of completing or doing something. And here, conclusion in the conclusion, you have to express balanced considerations or opinion directly or indirectly. Now here we have some language. For example, in your conclusion paragraph, you can write, for example, in conclusion, on balance, all things considered, taking everything into account, taking everything into consideration, to conclude, to sum up, all in all, finally, lastly, and so on. As you see, we start our conclusion paragraph with these phrases. Sometimes some of us just use one of these phrases more often, and it becomes boring after a while. It's better to add variety, to use some of them in our writing next time, to change it. And when we start with these phrases, we can also continue to just express balanced consideration. It can be said that, it can be claimed that, it seems that. As you see here, we have balanced considerations. We don't include our opinion here with these phrases. For example, it may be concluded that, and so on. All of these phrases are so helpful when you write your formal and academic essay. And if you want to express your opinion directly, again, we can start our conclusion paragraph with those phrases. But here, we can just include our opinion directly. It is my belief or opinion that, I firmly believe, I firmly feel, think that, I'm convinced that. As you see here, we directly express our opinion. Directly, we say I, in my opinion, and so on. But in the previous slide, here, indirectly, we are just expressing our opinion. It can be said, claim that, and then after that, we can just indirectly express our opinion. But here, we directly express our opinion in the conclusion paragraph, which is important. I hope you have enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, don't forget to write in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to read your comments, and your comments will encourage me a lot. Thank you, take care, and hope to see you again in my channel. Bye.